The last few days have been a bit hectic and I've been very scattered, which is crazy because I haven't been up to anything. I had plans Wednesday, but that didn't take my whole day, and I don't even remember what I did yesterday. Oh, right. Night Rain came out, and I played that for the entire evening. That's what I did. And today I woke up earlier to the detriment of my sleep, so I could, one, see the sun. My favourite time of day is just around noon, and I rarely get to see it. And two, get enough caffeine in me early enough in the day that I can spend all the energy it gives me into working on a personal project before it gets too late and I end up staying up the whole night. Neither of those things ended up panning out the way I wanted. It first went sideways when I stepped out the door and inhaled and smelt something that is all too common around where I live, but evokes childhood memories, and that is the smell of smoke. Not car exhaust, not refinery smoke, not cigarette smoke or any other recreational smoke, but the smell of wildfire smoke drifting into town. It happens pretty much every year, though there's some years where I don't remember it happening. It could have been that I just missed it, but who's to say? It happened last year, it'll happen again. Well, it has happened this year, and it happened the year before that. It wasn't too bad, but it was thick enough that you couldn't really see distant clouds or see the big city from where I live, which you can clearly see on a clear day. Either way, I chose to ignore the smoke and proceed on as usual, sort of omitting the grey sky from my brain and just staring at how the sunlight, which was still getting through the smoke, was casting on the trees. It's fun how places look so much different under different lighting. Like, for example, if as a child going to school all the time, it'd be rare to see your home in the middle of the day. You see it when you embark from your house to go to school in that early morning light, and then you see it in that evening light on your way back, but never the middle. So on the rare chance that you do get to see it, it looks almost foreign. This applies to any place at any point of your life. I'm now wondering to myself if that's what draws me to appreciate that time of day so much, because everything looks so foreign. I'm never awake at that time. I don't know. it does remind me mostly of the times I went to summer school. In my last year of middle school, as a graduating student, you had the option to enroll in summer classes to get a head start on high school and take care of the two odd requirement classes for your high school semesters. Those classes being gym and career and life management. So I took those during the summer. It was only a few weeks, and on days where I woke up early enough, I would bike there, and on days where I didn't, we would load up my bike into the trunk of my mother's van and drop it off along with myself at the school late. But classes didn't run the whole day because it's one class. They only ran till noon. There was no lunch break, just you're set free. So instead of sticking around, I would hop on my bike and ride down the hills of my town in that noon light, listening to music that at the time was very new to me. Thinking about what I'm going to do with all this extra time that has been given to me by this early release. I took summer school the next year for a different class, so I wouldn't have to take it during the school year. Actually, that wasn't the reason at all. I've just realized. The reason I took it is because the class is called social study. It covers like social constructs and history, sort of as an all-in-one class. Social constructs, history and geography. And the teacher whose class I ended up in for my grade 10 level social studies was quite the eccentric character, and he made, for the first time, that class extremely entertaining and engaging, and I got good marks. And I did the assignments, which was rare for social studies prior to that point. And I'd become attached to that teacher, so when I found out he wasn't going to be teaching it the next year, but he was teaching it in summer school, I signed up for it and implored a few of my friends to also sign up, which they did, and we all had a great time. The things we learned about were mostly World War II related, and we were shown some pretty gruesome and grim things, but I don't know, I had a good time. I look on that time fondly, and because one of my friends who had signed up with me lived in the same direction that I always head home, just by chance, he would sort of go halfway home with me, and that was a lot of fun. I actually visited him on Wednesday. That's who I had plans with. I went to the same house that I always left him at on my way home. I've gotten lost in my words again. I forget where I was going with this. Right, I was recapping my day. So, yeah. I ignored the smoke, went around, and I was extremely indecisive about what I wanted. I picked up a coffee and a breakfast wrap from Tim Hortons as I would on a work day. And it was an iced coffee, by the way. This was commented on the last video. I do like iced coffees, and I choose to have them on days where it's too hot for a regular coffee. They just contain more ice and water than regular coffee, so they have half the caffeine, and they also do not come in an extra large size. Once again, like shrinking down the amount of caffeine I'd get from them. So if I have one, I usually have to have something else as well. Anyway, I got that, and then I just kept driving. I wanted to see the sun a bit more, look at all of the greenery. But traffic was bad, like astoundingly bad for a Friday afternoon. It always amazes me how many people are on the road who I just can't imagine where they could be going, right? It's too grand a thing, too many moving pieces, right? Like I look at somebody and I can profile them through the car window, like they're in their late 30s. They look like they have kids based on the vehicle they have, and they're heading out of town. Right, so maybe they're heading to their job, or they're going to pick their kids up from somewhere, or this or that, or heading to the grocery store. And you look in another car, and it's somebody the same age as you, and they're heading who knows where. Right, could be school related, it is a weekday, or they could be heading to a friend's house, or they could be heading to work. Maybe they work the evening shift like I do. Too many things. Anyway, traffic was bad, so I sort of got railroaded into making choices I wouldn't have made otherwise. Missing turns and whatnot. And I just sort of ended up nearing my school building. I don't think there's anything going on there at the moment, but so I just started turning, like, just random turns, until I found myself on a familiar path. And I thought to myself, oh, why not go to the big mall and do a little shopping? But as I started heading in that direction, I missed the turn, and then sort of ended up back in town, and then just decided, well, may as well go home. And then, as I was about to turn into my neighborhood, I realized I hadn't picked up like any other caffeine other than the iced coffee. So I just kept going and then looped around past my work to the shops and then got the caffeine and went back home, right? And then I started working on my personal project. The personal project being I'm trying to make a character, an original design that is not a self-insert or anything like that, and is instead just original. So I have something I can freely animate with without feeling weird about it or anything. Anyway, so I sat down to do that for maybe an hour, before I noticed one of my friends in a voice chat and they in one of the servers I'm in on Discord, there's an individual whom people don't like him very much these days. He's very not self-aware, very pot calls the kettle black, very has to narrate all of his actions to us like he's doing the most important thing at all times, even if he's doing something completely separate to what everybody else is doing. Everybody has his own gripes with him. And originally he wasn't supposed to be in the server at all, but he happened to be there when the conversation about the server being created was happening. So he got an obligatory invite. So my friend requested that I join and save them. Not that I could do much, but I joined, and then other people joined, and then other people joined, and one thing led to another, and I ended up playing Night Rain for the majority of the evening again. So now here I am at roughly 3 a.m. and I've been trying to model hair braids as well as the rest of the hairstyle for, I think, 4 hours. I'm done with the braids actually. I got them in a place where I'm done with these. I don't need to adjust these anymore. And I'm hoping that will remain true tomorrow, if I do get back to it tomorrow. But for now, I got frustrated working on the bangs, and I just want to stop for a minute, right? It's too much. Yesterday was quite odd. Oh wait, there's something I forgot to mention. Oh, what was it? I had a thought, but I've lost it. What was it? Oh no. I should have written it down. Who knows? Okay. Anyway, yesterday, in the middle of playing Night Rain, in the middle of a boss fight, my mum came to me in a panic because everybody, including everybody I was on call with playing the game, got a severe wind warning on their phones. I think every country has a system like this these days. If you have a SIM card registered to a particular country, and the government can send out alerts straight to your phone, no matter what you're doing. When I was in Japan, I think I told this story, maybe not. It was me and three of my friends, and 2 of us decided to get prepaid SIM cards for the purpose of having Wi-Fi no matter where we were. And then one of our other friends got a Wi-Fi hotspot that he could just carry around with him in his bag and connect his phone to. And then the final friend did not have either. I shared a room in Tokyo with my friend who got a SIM card, meaning that when an earthquake struck, both phones in the room I was in got earthquake alerts telling us to take shelter, and the other room did not. They weren't even aware there was an earthquake until we told them in the morning, and they went, "Oh, that's what that was." It's ridiculous. Anyway, we all got alerts on our phones while we were playing Night Rain, and my mum came upstairs in a panic to move all the garden supplies into the shed and into the house, because during a heavy downpour over the weekend, the barbecue got moved by the wind and one of the flower pots got launched off the deck. I think I mentioned that. I'm not sure. Either way, ouch, I just hit my leg on the table. Either way, I had to rush and move all those things, and I think we won the boss fight, but I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. Still, it was fun. It's funny. The wind never ended up getting that bad in reality. People thought there would be hail. There wasn't any hail. It just rained on and off in like 5-minute intervals, and then nothing. It's funny how unpredictable the weather is like that. Right now I'm wondering if I should risk trying to wake up before noon tomorrow as well. Because in reality I don't need that much of my energy for work. I just get upset at work if I have low energy, like I don't want to be there. But to have more time before work, maybe that will offset that, perhaps. Not being so rushed, I don't know. At this point it doesn't seem to matter how much earlier before work I wake up. I still manage to end up having to rush things by the end. Like I take too long in the shower, or I meander around for far too long in the kitchen before even deciding to shower. Or I go back to sleep. It's silly of me. I thought my index finger would be better by now, but maybe I just didn't notice it so much during the work week. But it's hurting again. Nowhere near as bad as last week, but still, I thought it'd be gone. But it hasn't turned purple or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, hurts when I put pressure on it. Just the fingertip. Very odd. Sometimes I can't tell if I've gotten faster at a task, or not a task, but like making things, or if I've just gotten... Well, no, that's not how you start that sentence. Hold on, let me restart. Sometimes I can't tell if I've gotten slower at making things or just more ambitious. I've always been far too ambitious whenever I get excited over something. The earliest memory I have of this is when I was in the 2nd grade and the snow had finally come in full. My classmates were like, let's build a snow fort, guys. Let's build an epic snow fort. If we all work together, we can build the greatest snow fort anybody's ever seen, right? And one of the kids was like, I have an ice block maker at home, I'll bring it to school. So I started drawing up schematics for the snow place, or the snow fort, that's the word. They weren't very good schematics, it was just like a 2D view, right? And a realistic snow fort would have one level and some walls, right? But this was a multi-level, multi-basement snow bunker, really, that went like 20 feet into the ground with a pool and a games room and a fridge with snacks, and everybody got their own room. I don't even think anybody started building it. I just I should have been smart enough at that point to know that that was not feasible, but I guess it doesn't hurt to have imagination. Still, I wish I had... what's the word? I wish I could have grown up from that at some point and sort of learned to have less ambition. Many a school project has fallen incomplete by the deadline due to my inability to grow out of it. Maybe I always just think I'm stronger than I am, right? Or I'm faster than I am. But I rarely have... what's the word? I've not really had anybody to measure myself up to artistically. And that's not a I'm so great or anything. It's just like everybody I've ever met is always like so much better than me that I can't even compare myself to them, or they have no knowledge of whatever craft I'm comparing, so it's pointless to compare, like apples to oranges. Actually, that's not the correct use of that. The correct use of that is, like, I work in 3D with 3D models and animations, and I don't really like drawing all that much. So around the time I started only doing 3D stuff, I had one friend who was extremely good at drawing. Like, really, really good. In fact, most of my friends were extremely good at drawing, but I was not, and maybe that's why I'm not good at drawing these days. I wonder if them being so good made me feel like, oh, they're the same age as me and they're leagues above me. Maybe I should give up. I don't know. That's something I'd need a time machine to figure out. Either way, I couldn't compare myself to my peers when I was still only drawing, so I went to 3D, and then I had nobody to compare myself to. For a brief time, I could compare myself to a small community I was a part of online, but that community fractured and then fell apart and dissipated in quick order. So beyond that, never really had that. Maybe that's normal. I don't know. I find myself in a minor panic. Not right now, but just in a general, constant panic. Because it's now, I think, let me check, tomorrow, like, after I finish work and the clock strikes midnight, it will be June 1st. And throughout the entire month of May, I don't think I've really accomplished all that much. I finished school and I told myself that I'd use all the free time I now have to commit to my personal projects and finish my school projects and make something of myself online. But I've managed none of those things, I don't think. The only thing I have managed is this. And even then I feel like I'm slipping. I should have rendered a new background by now, or fixed the issues I had with the rain one, but I haven't. Couldn't tell you why, just slipped my mind. It's not like I owe it to whoever's listening to constantly change the background or fix whatever issues I had with the old ones, or to post on this every day, no matter what. But I do owe it to myself to commit to this thing I told myself I'd commit to. Just in the last 7 days, I've worked on, I think, 4 separate 3D projects and have finished none of them. I just sort of keep hitting roadblocks, right? And maybe it's a good thing to step back when you encounter roadblocks, right? Like if you can't go through, step back and see if you can go around. But if I just keep stepping back every time there's a roadblock, like I'm already at the point where no matter where I look, there's something in the way. All I I can do is pray next week will be better to me. And hope that my morning self will realize he's sort of the cause of all this garbage. If he wasn't such a sleepy fucking jerk and would just get out of the bed instead of rolling over and going back to sleep, or rolling over and scrolling YouTube shorts for 2 hours, then we'd stop being late for work. We'd be able to do things before work. We'd be able to actually maybe finish something with a clear mind and feel better. And I feel such a disconnect between me and him, right? Because I can tell myself now that I'm going to wake up at 10 a.m. and work for 4 hours and then shower and go to work. Right? But to get anywhere close to that, I have to set 6 alarms. And even then, I probably won't get out of bed till noon. He won't get out of bed till noon. The disconnect used to not exist. It's funny, the other summer I set an alarm for myself on a random day in July to wake up at 9 a.m. because I wanted to go to the park and see what it looked like in the light I remember seeing it in as a kid. And I did wake up for that alarm. Right? And I think last summer, or the summer before that, I set an alarm for 10 a.m. so that I could go to the water park with my friends as the sort of like final hoorah for summer. And the alarm was set for 10. I went to bed a lot later than I should have. My body woke itself up at 9. It gave me enough time to get coffee and still be early. I got there before the rest of them did. I just can't now. And I wondered to myself, like, no, correlation does not mean causation, but ever since I took on this stupid retail job, my life has been plummeting, like my energy and my time and my willingness to do anything has plummeted so far down. And is it because of the job? Maybe. Could be. Or is it something else? I don't know. Doctor, help me. I feel bad. I really should see, like, a doctor and a psychiatrist. Or something. Right. I'll find time. eventually. Maybe I'll just write it in big letters on my whiteboard. Like, go see a psychiatrist. And then, like, a little square for me to check off when I've finally done it. Maybe that's what I can do next week. I'll set a reminder on my phone. I'll keep you updated on that. Anyway, this has been a lot of sort of self-depressive talk, right? Like my own doubts about myself and all that. I don't know if that's interesting content to people. I don't think it needs to be. Like, this is my show. I'll do what I want. I'm just running my mouth, but hate is a strong word, but I'd hate to ruin somebody's mental or ruin somebody's day with my ramblings. Should I start putting like trigger warnings in the description or something? I don't know. I won't talk about like suicide or self-harm at any point, because I've never attempted suicide really, and I've never done any extreme self-harm or any self-harm in the last it's been long enough that I can't remember, like well over 12 years probably. I don't know, I was a moody kid. Anyway, to get past all that nonsense, I think I want to play some songs. Oh, I just hit my chair against the wall. That's funny. Let's see. There were some songs I was trying out that I've definitely played before, but they often slip my mind as songs I can play on guitar. There's a lot of silence. I'm just sort of analysing the chord sheets. Anyway, yeah, we'll play it. The song is Hiding Tonight by Alex Turner. Tomorrow I'll be quicker, stare into the strobe light, flickering afloat, I'll stay quite alright hiding today. Tomorrow I'll be faster, I'll catch what I've been chasing after end of time to play. Quite alright hiding today. And I would play the coconut shy, win a prize even if it's rigged. I won't know when to stop. You can leave off my lid and I won't even lose my fears. I'll be the polka dot tie, I'll know the way back if you know the and white. I'm quite alright hiding tonight. And I would have a game on the coconut shy and win a prize, even if it's rigged. I won't know when to stop. You can leave off my lid, and I won't even lose my fears. I'll be the polka dot side. Probably swim through a few lagoons, have a spring in my step, and I'll get there soon to sing you a happy tune. Tomorrow you better bring a change of clothes so we can sail our laughing pianos along a beam of light. I'm quite alright hiding tonight. To my knowledge, the strumming pattern is pretty non-existent, and I really didn't know what to do with the midsection there, sort of pause between verses right after the first chorus, because in the original song there's another guitar and I think a piano, but not one here. Sorry, I only have so many hands and only so much brain to operate said hands. Anyway, yeah, that was Hiding Tonight by Alex Turner. Alex Turner is the frontman for the Arctic Monkeys, one of my favourite bands ever of all time. I believe I've mentioned him before. Either way, he did he did the soundtrack for a movie called Submarine. The movie itself is a bit odd. It's sort of about this kid who's a bit of a sociopath trying to find love, and he ends up with this this girl who is very bad, like she smokes cigarettes and whatnot, and they're in like middle school, I think. Either way, he did the soundtrack for the entire movie. I have it on vinyl, and my eldest brother, who is I think 10 years older than me, got me the vinyl for Christmas, and when he handed it to me, he said, this album's great, I'm glad you asked for it, but, and then he leaned in and he said, he signed mine. There was an instance, he's told me the story before, I just didn't know which, like that he got something signed. There was an instance in which Alex Turner, on his way to a festival nearby, got separated from the rest of his band. He ended up on a different flight, and with several hours to kill. So he got picked up for an interview by a radio station, and my eldest brother had a number of friends in radio at the time, and knowing that he really liked this band, they called up my brother and said, hey, could you pick up a case of beers and make your way to the studio right now? Alex Turner is sitting in. So he did, and they interviewed him. I think the interview was written, and I haven't been able to find it, though I haven't looked very hard. But the signed record is real, and my favourite bit of the story is when my brother, he told me this on a different Christmas. He had gone to, I think, Coachella or some festival out in the south end of North America, and while he was just sort of waiting for another band to show up, he came across the Arctic Monkeys, who were in the midst of their tour for their Suck It and See album. And then at some point in their set, they played Do I Wanna Know, their most famous song to date. Like, it's the one that goes like, right, it's that one, which was a completely different vibe to all of their other music. Like, same genre, but different vibe. But it took the world by storm, and my brother missed the show he had intended to see because he stayed to listen to the Arctic Monkeys' whole set. So he brought this up to Alex Turner when he was interviewing him, and Alex looked at him and said, "If you like that, we got a lot more about where that came from." And then shortly after, like some months after that interview, they dropped their most successful album. An incredible album. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, he's definitely one of my favourite musicians ever. I hope to meet him one day, as my brother did, but I don't know if I'll ever get the chance. I think I want to play another song off the album, but I'm not sure which one. I can't play them all. One of them is quite hard on my hand, and well, let's try. This might be a bit messy, but I feel like doing two songs. Let me just adjust the mic here. Oh, that's some noise. There we go. Okay. Now actually, hold on. Yeah, whatever. The issue I'm going to run into here is this song is played fingerstyle, which I still can't do. I haven't found a good way to practice it, or rather a way that feels good to practice it. So I'm just going to be strumming the chords how I can, and it's not going to sound as good as the original recording by any measure. But yeah, Glass in the Park by Alex Turner. There's glass in the park, darling, I can't tell, but keep making appointments to sleep beneath the climbing frame. If the sun's in your eyes, I tighten your blindfolds, baby, or your foot won't get cut. Struck carelessly. When you say that you need me tonight, can't keep my feelings in disguise. Oh, I don't recognize that chord. Oh, it's that one. It's in disguise, the white part of my eye, posing luminous. No, that's not it at all. We'll skip past that bit because I don't really understand how to play it. It's like F7. Right. I don't know. It's too many chords to search through. I'll wait for you as if I'm waiting for the storm to start. I've heard them talking about how I'm gonna put you on. There's class in the park. Now that I'm up off my knee, picked up the speed to jump your palisade and to shoot through the night. And suddenly all those once lost concoctions, froth and chase the day away. When you say that you need me tonight, can't keep my feelings in disguise. The white part of my eye, illuminates. So, I don't know if that's the right chord. Oh, it is. That's dumb. I'll wait for you as if I'm waiting for the storm to start. I've heard them talking about how I'm gonna put you on. Tell me how I'm gonna put you off when you're what is that? Matter of urgency. I've got a billion things that I need to do, but they're all secondary. Make sure you're not followed. Meet me by the death balloon. Paris and me, woman, I'm your man on the moon. Like a grain of diamond, you float, and miles of oceans out across cracks. That was pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. There's too many things in that I can't really play, and I now remember why it's not on my list of songs I'm able to play. Still, we manage. Trying my best. Oh man. Okay, this one's already past an hour, which means it's going to take ages to render. But that's fine. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. If you have any song requests, please do comment something, because I'm getting close to running out. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. The more the merrier. If you're going to bed, have a good night, rest well, wake up early in the morning so you can see the sun. If you're just waking up, good morning. I hope you have a good day. I hope you actually get a weekend on the weekend. And I hope the weather's just right instead of too hot or too cold. And yeah, I myself am going to go to bed after this is uploaded. Good night. Bye-bye.